Welcome again, Wildcats. All right, so today we're looking at Thursday, March 2nd, and we're going to add and subtract rational expressions, and that's going to be on page 61. So if you would, pause your video, update your table of contents. All right, now that your table of contents is updated, let's take a look at our notes. All right, so we're adding and subtracting rational expressions. Okay, so step 1, you're going to factor the denominator. Step 2, you're going to find the common denominator and multiply by a special 1. Step 3, you're going to simplify the numerator. And step 4, you're going to factor the numerator and divide out common factors. So if you would, pause the video and update your notes. All right, now your notes are updated. Let's take a look at the examples. All right, and forget this is on page 61. All right, number 1, simplify the following expression. Okay, so step 1, factor the denominator. The denominators are the same, so we don't need a factor, and all we have to do is when they have the same denominator, you add the numerators. So 1 plus 2 is 3, so that's 3 divided by 2. Okay? Now, example 2. Step 1, factor the denominator. So the factors of 15 are, and we're looking one because there's a 5 here, a factor with 5. So we know factors are 5 and 3. Okay? So because this has 5 and 3, we know that this needs 3, so we're going to multiply by the special 1. And this is a special 1. We're going to multiply by 3 divided by 3. It's a special 1 because 3 divided by 3 is 1, but we're going to use it to make both denominators be the same. Okay? So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 7 divided by 15. So now they have the same denominator. We add numerators. So 6 plus 7 is 13 divided by 15. All right, now we're going to apply those basic concepts to when we have rational expressions, okay, with x's and so on, okay? So here, looking at example 4, okay, we have the same denominator, so we don't need to factor, okay, and we don't need to find the common denominator because we already have it. So we're going to simplify the numerator. So we know that 2x and 3x combine to be 5x. And then negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. So we have 5x plus 1 divided by 4x minus 1. All right, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and try example 5 on your own. All right, now I assume you've paused and you've tried example 5, so now follow along with me and check your work. So we have the same denominator, so we combine, I'm hoping we saw this. There's a subtraction here. So you want to write this as 3x minus 4 minus 5x plus 3. You're actually subtracting from both terms. Divided by 4x plus 5. Okay? Now, you're subtracting, but technically you're multiplying by a negative 1. Okay? So, that becomes 3x minus 1 times 5x is negative 5x. And negative 1 times positive 3 is a minus 3. Divided by 4x plus 5. Okay. Now we're going to simplify the numerator. 3x minus 5x is a negative 2x minus 3 divided by 4x plus 5. Okay, so now let's look at example 6. All right, so step 1, we're going to factor the denominator. Well, we know x and x. All right, so we know the only combination that multiplies to give you 2 is 1 and 2. So x plus 1 plus 2, and 2 plus 1 gives you 3. Okay? Now, this has x plus 1 and x plus 2. This only has x plus 1, so we're going to need to multiply by the special 1, which in this case is x plus 2 divided by x plus 2. And we call it special 1 because they divide and become 1, but it's going to help us manipulate the fraction so we now have common denominators. Okay? So then we have x minus 1, and I'll be right back. Let me get a ruler. Divided by x plus 1, x plus 2, plus x times x plus 2 divided by x plus 1 times x plus 2. Okay, so now we've done step 1 and step 2, so now let's move on to step 3, simplify the numerator. So then you get, and to kind of save us some space here, let's just go and do this here. X times x is x squared, and x times 2 is plus 2x. So we know x squared, see 2x and 1x combined to be 3x minus 1. Divided by x plus 1, x minus 1, or x plus 2. Now, in step 4, it says factor the numerator and divide out common factors. So we need to find out the numerator is factorable. Okay? So to find out, let's find the only combination to make negative 1 is negative 1 and 1. Okay? There's no combination possible to give you the middle term, so this is done. You can't factor the numerator and divide out common factors. All right, so let's look at example 8. All right, so step 1, factor the denominator. So we know that this is x minus 2, x plus 2, all right. So now we see here that this has x minus 2 and x plus 2. This only has x plus 2, so we need to multiply by the special 1, x minus 2 divided by x minus 2. And we call it special 1 because this divided by itself is 1, but we're using it to manipulate, so we have the same denominator. Okay? All right. So at this point, I'm going to attempt to write very small, and I suggest doing the same because it's going to take a little bit of work. Okay? So we have 2x squared minus 16 minus x plus 4 times x minus 2 divided by x minus 2x plus 2. So now, to save some space, let's go ahead and, we know this is multiplying by 1, but let's go ahead and FOIL this here. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So this is 2x squared minus 16 minus 1 times x squared plus 2x minus 8 divided by x minus 2, x plus 2. Now we're going to multiply by the negative 1, so you get 2x squared minus 16. Negative 1 times x squared is negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times 2 is a negative 2x. Negative 1 times a negative 8 is a positive 8. Divided by x minus 2, x plus 2. All right, so now we're at the point where we can simplify the numerator. All right, 2x squared minus 1x squared is 1x squared. And then we have a minus 2x. And then negative 16 plus 8 is a negative 8. Divided by x minus 2, x plus 2. All right, now at this point, we're going to attempt to factor the numerator. Okay, so we know the combinations of negative 8 are 1 times negative 8, 2 times negative 4, 3 doesn't work, 4 times negative 2. Well, we see that 2 times negative 4 gives you negative 8, combined to be negative 2, so we can factor, and this becomes x minus 4 times x plus 2 divided by x minus 2, x plus 2. Well, anything divided by itself is 1, so we're left with x minus 4 divided by x minus 2. All right, so if you feel like you were doing okay with that, that's awesome. I would try example 3 and 7 before you come to class, but wait on example 9. Example 9, there's something I want to go over and explain. I will say, though, there's a connection between example 3 and example 9. So I would ask that, see if you can figure out what the connection is, what's similar about example 3 and example 9, okay? And don't stress if you had trouble with some of this. I can go back over any examples in class as well, okay? So with that, have a wacky Wildcat day.